Well, hello, one and all, and welcome. That's right. We've had a lot of Sunday gatherings up till now. We sure have. If we haven't yet met, I'm Sandra Champlain, as these guys refer to me as hostess with the mostest. I'm happy to have that title. Each week, we are here for about 90 minutes-ish, gathered together really for a few different reasons. Certainly to be a community. We're members from all over the world. It's to bring you joy, it's to bring you inspiration, some comfort, some philosophy, some empowerment, some healing, and also with the great reality that the afterlife is real, that our loved ones are still alive. And so that's why we include the medium demonstration within each and every Sunday gathering. I'm joined here today by my dear friends. Well, we call ourselves the Three Amigos: Sandra, Dominic Bogue, our medium and friend, and my dear, I call him my brother because you're just so close, Darren Wynn. So we are here. I'm going to let Darren explain what our theme is today. I do know from just reading in the chat box, what joins a lot of us here on our Sunday gathering is if we have loved ones that we miss dearly that are in the unseen world, and we want to know they're still around and we want comfort. Well, you're in a community that speaks that language. And so whether you're here for the first time or you've been with us for many, many times, we just welcome you. So I'm going to pass it over to Darren and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Sandra, and a massive hello to each and every one of you, and welcome to our Sunday gathering. Yes, it's the Three Amigos, the Three Musketeers, or whatever you want to call us, as long as it's nice words. We'll take anything. So when I was trying to work out this theme for this Sunday gathering, I happened to be sort of stood next to Scott, and I said, "Oh, it's my turn to do the Sunday gathering theme this week." And before I finished, he said, "There's no place like home." I said, "What makes you say that?" And he said, "Well, I travel a lot." He does. Leaves me at home, sadly. He travels a lot, and he says he always looks forward to coming back home. And we kind of had a conversation about what it is that he looks forward to coming back to. I said, "Obviously, it's me, but I don't think that went down too well." But we kind of had a conversation around it. And I thought, you know what? It would make the perfect theme for this Sunday gathering. So our theme is There is No Place Like Home. I've come up with all the music and the theme for today. I will also be doing the opening prayer, the reading, the healing, and part of the address. You have Sandra, our hostess with the mostest, as she's already said, who'll be doing all the behind the scenes work for us today and playing all our videos and having it all flowing lovely and wonderful as she always does. And Sandra will also be doing our words for the week. And then we have Mr. Dominic Bogue, the wonderful one and only from Scotland. He'll be doing our closing prayer today and part of the address, and obviously he'll be doing our demonstration of mediumship, which will be wonderful as always. So, ladies and gents, without further ado, if you'd all like to join me today for the opening prayer. We come together here today as friends, brothers and sisters from across our globe, coming together here today to play our part in any way we can in uniting the two worlds together once again under that banner of We Don't Die. And in coming together here today, we do so with no demands or no expectations, but allow our loved ones from the unseen world to share their thoughts and their words through the minds of our workers here today, to bring us all those moments of joy, healing and upliftment once again. And in coming together here today, we do so as equals. Each and every one of us here today comes together as an equal and will be treated as so, as we know there is no discrimination here or in the unseen world. So each and every one of us can allow ourselves to fall back into the arms of eternity once again and be immersed in that unconditional love and that healing balm. And each and every one of us can experience the joy once again of bringing the two worlds together as one. We'd like to thank you for allowing us this opportunity to walk hand in hand, side by side with those within your world, and allowing us once again to bring kindness to all of mankind. So as we enter into this Sunday gathering, we do so with smiles upon our faces, positivity within our minds, and love within our hearts, so that we can create that perfect meeting ground in which the two worlds can come together once again. And we ask, as always, that healing light continues to shine to all four corners of our world to bring the comfort, the joy, and the love to all those hearts and minds that may be in need on this day. So without further ado, my friends, we welcome you here today. Amen. Okay, I'm just going to go into our reading now. Today's reading is called The Legacy of Home. It was only August, but it already felt like summer's end. The heat had broken. Perhaps it was a thunderstorm of tears I had wept that tempered the humidity and made the air loss oppressive, as if the world was trying to comfort me. My eyes sizzled at the thought, threatening to become bubbling pools once again. I blinked fiercely, silently urging them to settle. They obeyed, this time, and I sighed in relief. I didn't want my vision blurry as I made my way through the tree-arched mountain pass, its winding road curving upward like a sanguine river. The drive was peaceful, familiar. Each turn was like muscle memory. The way the sunlight flickered through the emerald canopy, how the toasted scent of onion grass filled the air. It was all the same. And yet, everything was different. I was going home, but not in the way I ever imagined. The house I was returning to hadn't heard laughter in months. It hadn't felt the warmth of hands baking bread or feet rushing down its old wooden steps. The porch light had been off since spring. Now I was the last to carry its key. Mum passed away in May. It was sudden. A quiet fall in the kitchen, a rushed ambulance, and a phone call that split the world in two. I couldn't speak for a full day after hearing the news. I just sat, staring at my hands as if they belonged to someone else. After the funeral, I couldn't bring myself to return. The house felt like a tomb, not a home, so I waited. Until now. The first thing I noticed as I pulled into the gravel driveway was how still everything was. No wind, no birds, just the low hum of the engine as I cut it off and sat in silence. The house stood unchanged, white paint peeling, ivy creeping along the brick chimney, and the blue rocking chair still creaking gently in the breeze, even though there was no breeze. I stepped out, gravel crunching under my boots, and approached the front porch. The key, long unused, stuck in the lock for a second before clicking open. As the door swung inward, the familiar scent of lavender and old books hit me, and memories poured in like floodwater. I walked through the living room, my fingertips brushing the arm of Dad's old recliner. He used to call it his thinking chair, even though he mostly napped in it. The crochet blanket Mum had made, cream with little sunflower patches, was still folded on the back. In the kitchen, the calendar was frozen in April. A list of groceries Mum never bought still clung to the fridge. Eggs, basil, chicken thighs. I turned away, heart aching. Upstairs, my childhood bedroom was exactly how I'd left it 10 years ago. Posters of constellations, a chipped globe, the worn-out teddy bear I once cried into when I lost my first friend. But it was the attic that called to me the most. Mum had always kept it locked. Not out of secrecy, but out of practicality. Too dusty, she'd say. Too many memories I'm not ready to sort. Today it was mine. I pushed the key into the small brass lock. The door creaked open. Dust motes swirled like snowflakes in the golden light. Boxes were stacked neatly, each one labelled in their delicate cursive. Christmas 1987. Your baby clothes. Dad's journals. And then I found the trunk. Heavy, old, and trimmed with rusted brass corners, it bore one word on top. Legacy. I knelt and opened it slowly. Inside were letters, hundreds of them, tied in ribbon, yellowed with time. Some addressed to me, some to Dad, and some never sent. Beneath them were journals, recipes in her handwriting, Polaroids, clippings of poems she loved, a little notebook titled Things I Never Said. I sat there for hours, cross-legged on the wooden floor, reading pieces of her heart. She wrote about her fears, about love, about loneliness. She wrote about me, how proud she was, how she worried I didn't know how deeply she loved me. She wrote about the house too, how it was more than wood and paint, how it was a memory of every laugh, every lesson, every morning sunbeam on that kitchen floor. That night, I didn't sleep in a hotel. I slept in my old bed, wrapped in the scent of time and tears. In the days that followed, I dusted, I opened windows, and I played music. The house began to breathe again. Mum left behind more than memories. She left a legacy of love, of family, of the importance of roots. And now it's mine to carry forward. Okay, we'll now go into our healing segment. The lady we've got singing on today's video is a lady called Jessie Buckley. And the place she's singing about and some of the images within this video, I know live within Dom's heart. It's a beautiful song. And as always, you know, coming together on these Sunday gatherings, there's a large number of us. And what perfect opportunity can we give to the spirit world by all coming together as one and think of that power we can create as one, sending out all that love, all that healing and all that comfort to those in need on this day. And if you switch on the box nowadays, it's full of people that are in need. So let's do our duty. Let's all come together as one. You can sit and watch a song if you wish, or you can close your eyes. But whichever way you choose to listen to this song as we play, just send out your thoughts to those near and dear to you and those far away. And let's allow those in the unseen world to work with this immense power we're going to now create. So thank you.
Wow, what an incredible little song to play. I'm going to assume, Darren, that you picked that song just for me. So I will take that moment to just believe it was for me. But there's something very true in that there really is no place like home. And for me, I just arrived home back here in Glasgow last Saturday from being away for 3 months touring in America and Canada. And coming home, there's always a buzz. And I know that sounds very weird, but there's always a buzz. There's always an excitement. There's an excitement first and foremost on going on your trip. Whether that's a trip on vacation or a holiday, or whether it's just a short trip to meet friends, there's also always a buzz and excitement of coming home. And yes, sometimes, if you're like me, there's also the holiday blues that you sometimes get because, let's face it, you've got to get back to reality. And for me, getting back to reality is getting back to work. But coming home is very special for me. And as much as I'm very blessed to be able to travel and see so many beautiful places in this world through my work, there's nothing quite like coming home. And my partner Mark, he always says to me when he knows that we're coming to the end of our trip, are you ready to go home? Are you looking forward to going home? And of course, I always shrug it off with, oh no, I'm fine. Because I don't want him to think that I'm not appreciating the time that we've got together. But one thing I love about coming home is getting to be number one in my own big comfy bed. And I know some of you will relate to that. No matter where you go, no matter what hotel or accommodation you live in, there's never quite the same mattress or bed, is there? And if you're like me, I like certain bedding, I like certain sheets. And there's nothing quite like getting home to your own bed sheets and your own pillow. And I know that's a little bit boring, isn't it? Looking forward to leaving all these beautiful places to come home just because of your bed and the bedding and your comfy pillows. But there's something to be said in that. There's something to be said in us as human beings. There's nothing quite like coming home to somewhere where you feel safe and where you feel comfortable and where you feel that you can just and let the rest of the world continue to spin where you can just breathe for a moment. Coming home for me also is very exciting, well, because some places that I visit in the world doesn't always have the same cuisine or the same food that I thoroughly enjoy. So coming home, I sit on the plane and I start to think, okay, so Sunday I'm going to have this for dinner, and then Monday we'll cook this, and oh, Wednesday we'll go to that favorite restaurant. Some of you may already know by now that I'm a foodie. I love food. So I get excited thinking about going to my favourite restaurants that, well, I haven't been to in so long. But eventually, once I've done that, then I think, okay, well, what's next? And what's next is family, isn't it? Being able to come home and spend time with your friends and your family that maybe you haven't seen for so long. For me, like I said, 3 months seems like a long time for some people. For me, it feels like a blink of an eye. But when I came home and went and seen my mum, the first thing she said to me after she gave me a hug, and I think she may have had a tear in her eye, I'm not sure, but she said to me, it feels like it's been longer this time. It feels like it's been much longer than normal. And I says to her as I pulled her away from me, I says, Mum, this isn't anything new. Says normally I do 3 months and then sometimes 2 months. It says I've only done a short time this time. I know, but it just felt like it had been so long. I'm just glad you're home now. Well, that's interesting. As much as I'm excited to come home, isn't it nice to know that people are excited that you're coming home as well? But what is home? Is home bricks and mortar and cladding and doors and timber? Is it the building that we sleep in, we cook in, that we raise our family in? For me, home truly is where the heart is. But also, we can sometimes have a house or we can have a home. I think a house is empty if it doesn't have love in it, if it doesn't have family in it, if it doesn't have those legacies, like Darren said, those memories left behind. And I think as we move through life, we start to realize how we can turn a house into a home. And that for me is where we then become grounded and where we really start to create our legacy. I've had many homes, but in reality, as I look back, all they truly were shells. All they were was a house that I lived in. I always knew they were never my forever home. Even this house that I live in now, I know it's not my forever home, but it's a house that I'm very excited to fill with lots of love and lots of memories and perhaps leave some legacy. And who knows what chapters I will adventure in as I move forward through life. But this is serving its purpose. It's weather-tight, it's watertight. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel happy. It's a place that I know. It's people I know. That's another thing. When you find your home, it's the environment, it's the people around you. I know some of you may be joining us with the feeling that your home no longer feels like a home anymore. Maybe you've lost your husband or your wife, or maybe your kids have fled the nest and the home has become ever so quiet. But there's something to be said in what Darren had read with the legacy. This home is somewhere that you can build memories and love and hold on to those legacies. If we look at grief, it's something that we've all experienced, and it's something that unfortunately we will always experience. But just because someone had lost their ability to speak or lost their physical body, does it mean that they lose their home? Absolutely not. Some people say that the home is in their heart or the heart is in the home. But one thing I know as a medium is our loved ones never leave the home. If you continue to stay in the same house or the same home, your loved ones will be there with you. Sometimes, though, there comes a point where we leave the family home. Perhaps it gets too big. Perhaps there's no need for the 4 bedrooms or the 3 bedrooms because maybe it's just you now. And maybe you find yourself going and starting a new legacy in a smaller house. But you're going to turn that house into a home. The one thing I want you to always remember is your loved ones come with you. Because in my mind, the home is actually in the heart. So do not fear that if you do move through life and create home somewhere else without that special person physically, please do not fear that you will be leaving them behind. Because love carries it forward. The same love that I have when I come home from being on tour, the same love that I have to see my friends and my family. And once upon a time in the not so far past, I looked forward to coming home and seeing my fur babies, my beautiful German Shepherd Jackson, and just recently my beautiful baby cat Lily had joined Jackson in the spirit world. And I used to get excited coming out of the car and going up to the deck and opening the front door and having Jackson coming out and jumping and being like a big bear and a big baby, all excited that he hadn't seen me for so long. And then as I go into the house, little Miss Lily poking her head through the banister with that look of disgust that I had left her for so long. I could just tell she would be in her little sassy mood for a little while until she comes out of it and then comes and gives me lots of kisses and cuddles. But I know they're still here. I know they're still in this home. I know that they're still with me. And one thing I will leave you with of the thought of is what makes a home. A home for me is where there's love. A home for me is somewhere that you love, somewhere where you should feel comfortable, feel safe, and a place that makes you feel loved. So wherever you go in this world, whatever you see, whatever your life takes you, whatever your trips may be, always remember there's always a piece of your home in your heart, and never forget that. Thank you very much for listening, and I will pass you over to Darren.
Thank you very much for that, Dominic. It was wonderful to listen to. And how much of what Dominic said resonates with all of us here today, whether it's, losing people that we was in that home with or memories that we had within that home and stuff like that. And it's a lot of it really does resonate, and it's where you get thinking to what makes a home a home. And I know when I was thinking of the Sunday gathering theme the other day, and the first thing Scott said was home is where the heart is, or, there's no place like home. And we started having a conversation, and this conversation has gone on for several days, funny enough. Yesterday we was with Scott's mum, and we started reminiscing about childhood memories, our own childhood memories, because obviously we're all different ages, born in different places. And we started talking about our homes, funny enough. And it was really weird because his mum knew nothing about this Sunday gatherings theme or anything like that. And we just started reminiscing about the homes that we were born into and first started to live our lives within. And then we started going on the internet, looking at these homes and reminiscing and see how they changed and see how different they were. And I know for myself, I was born up north in Manchester. And I looked at my house and it's been the whole street's been, renovated. It looks nothing like the house I used to live in. And then you start going in, looking at the photos. Oh, how have they decorated? How have they done this? How have they done that? And when I was younger, I had all my family or a lot of my family lived within the same town as I did. And my uncle and aunt lived a few streets up. And we used to go to their house every week, probably several times a week. And it was Dominic, something Dominic said kind of nudged my mind with it. It was our home was built with love, good memories, laughter, and the same as their home. And I was very close to this uncle and aunt, and they're now in the spirit world. And I remember I live down south now, 200 odd miles away from where I came from. But I started thinking when we were talking yesterday and reminiscing, and I think, do you know what? Home is where the heart is. But also, you kind of think home is where you were born, where you were bred. Yeah, I believe we have several homes. And I can't help thinking when I talk about my original birthplace, you start reminiscing, you get emotional in a good way, all the good memories, all the Christmases, the birthdays, the celebrations, and everything. And I remember when my uncle and aunt passed several years back, I remember driving up there just after they passed. And I remember going into my uncle's house alone when nobody was around. And I walked in each and every room. It still had their furniture, their clothes, their belongings, everything was still there. Um, and I remember walking around it, getting really emotional and sad. And thinking, do you know what? I'm never going to see this again. I'm never going to experience this again. And all the love and joy we had over the years in that house, it's all going to be gone. They've gone. The house is going to be sold, and it's all gone. And before we left, his daughter gave us all some belongings that they wanted us to have, which sit in our home today. And I thought what Dom spoke about them is so poignant and so real. Yeah, the bricks and mortar is wonderful to go into, experience, be part of. But actually, it's not about the bricks and the mortar. It's the memories that go with that. And I know my uncle and aunt passed several years back. But even now, within the house I've got now, I have some of their belongings. So often when I'm sitting thinking them in a quiet moment, I sit and look at their objects. And straight away, my mind goes back to their house, how we used to go in. We had lots of laughter, fun, giggles, and it brings my mind back straight away. But I think the key thing is the memories, those special moments. I can sit here now and tell you what my Christmas was like when I was 5 years old in my uncle and aunt's house. I can tell you what we spoke about, what we had for dinner. And I think what Dominic said is so true. That I think is more special and more memorable than having the physical bricks and mortar. If you ever wanted to be close to someone, just think of those good memories. I'm thankful and grateful that I have loads of good memories too. And I can feel myself smiling now as I'm talking about them. But, in my present day, me and Scott had this conversation about, what makes a home a home? What makes you, and I joked with him saying it's because you missed me. It's because you wanted to come back to me. It's me that you miss. It's not the house. And there is an element of truth there. We do miss our loved ones when we're away and our family. But a house is what you make it. And it's, you come back and like Dominic said, you've got your simple things like your own comfortable bed, your own comfortable duvet, your own comfortable pillow. But it's silly things like you've got your own armchair, you've got your own TV, it's positioned in the right way, it's positioned for, in the right distance and all that kind of stuff. And you can walk in from a day's work, plonk yourself on the sofa, flick on the TV. But you find when you're at home, you've got to find how the remote works. All that, I don't like the TV being there and all those kind of things. So I think when you build your own home, whatever that may be, decor, whatever you're doing, you build it to your own comforts, to your own environment. And I think that's what makes it a little bit special as well, because you're coming home to familiarity. You're coming home to something you know. But at the end of the day, a home is what we make it. And I know Dominic travels a lot. I know Sandra used to travel a lot with her catering business. I travel sometimes if Scott lets me. But I've been to different places within the world. I've been lucky enough to see many places. And you know what? For me, for that small amount of time you're there, I call it home and I make it home. Sometimes you have to settle into your surroundings so quick and easy. And there's people around that make that easy. I remember we spent a few days in Sandra's home, should I say. And you know what? That was like walking into my second home. It was very loving. We was well looked after. The beds was comfy. Sandra and her mum were very welcoming. And they just said to us, make yourselves at home. And how many times do you go into somebody's house and they say, make yourself at home? And you do to a certain degree, but there's a certain line you don't cross. You don't want to be too comfortable or, make things awkward or what have you. But, you go to, like, we spent time in Sandra's house with her and her mum, and they naturally made you feel comfortable. You just went in the kitchen and made your own drinks and made something to eat. You could put on the TV what you wanted, all that kind of stuff. And you think about it, it's people around us all that make us feel like we're at home, even though we're not at home. And I know Dominic has that experience when he goes away and stays with certain people. You're naturally felt to feel at home. And that's for me what truly a home is. When you walk into somebody's home and you feel at home and you're made to feel at home, you can tell there's a lot of love in the house. You can tell there's a lot of comfort in the house. And it's, it's where the heart is. And it's how people make you feel. And hopefully, we've had many people over to our house and we hope we reciprocate that. If anyone comes to our house, and it's not an invite to everyone, by the way, but if anyone does come to our house, we hope we can reciprocate that. We want people to feel how we feel in our home. We want them to feel loved. We want them to feel part of the home. Even with our little fur babies, we've got 6 rabbits and 2 cats. And like Dominic said, when you've been away for a period of time, and it was funny as he said that, because he said about the conversation with Mark saying, are you looking forward to going home and all that? I get exactly the same from Scott. And I just go, yeah. Part of me is going to miss my vacation wherever I am or wherever I'm away with friends. I'm going to miss that. But Scott's more of a home person than I am. And he always says to me, are you looking forward to getting home? I bet you can't wait to get home. And And this is like halfway in the holiday. And I always please him and just say, yep, I'm looking for, and then deep down I am, because again, we walk through the door, the 2 cats are there to greet you. You go into the room at the back and you've got 6 rabbits scurrying around, all coming up to touch to see you. But it's magical sometimes, I think, coming home. Wherever you go within this world, it's always magical to come back home. And I think sometimes it's a place we live. The communities we're within helps as well and truly does make a difference. We're lucky enough in the town that we're in. We know a lot of people. And we was in a restaurant yesterday and we was talking to the owner and he was talking about some problems and bits and bobs going on. And a question we said to him, what have other people told you to do? Or what advice has other people given you? And what I thought was touching was when he turned around and said, I haven't discussed it with anyone else. I don't trust anyone else but you two. And to me, that was quite, I know we know people within our towns and communities and what have you. And we think, you always have, oh, that's my friend. But it truly made me think, because we were talking about that, there's nowhere like home. And I thought, do you know what? There truly isn't. When you've got people that can share their personal thoughts, personal views, personal issues they're going through, and they want to hear your thoughts and your advice, I thought, how lovely is that? And we have other people as well, business people we talk to. We go into one place, and the guy will says, if you ever need me, give me a call. Here's my number. I'll come and help you. And I know he would. And we were talking about him and his wife always go on cruises. And every time we go in there, he tells us about the last cruise he's just been. Every 7 weeks he's on a cruise. And he keeps saying about going on a cruise and what have you. And he goes, you guys need to go. I mean, we are going on one at some point this year, more for another time. But he always says to us, he goes, you guys should come with us on a cruise. And we would, but we don't really know that well. When you feel they've opened up their door to us, they've opened up an invitation, but because you don't know people that well, you don't want to spend time with people in that close proximity and don't really know them that well. But I mean, there's so many people around within your own towns and own communities that make your place feel like home. You've been away for a while, you go down the shops and people are, oh my God, where have you been? I haven't seen you for ages. Or how was your holiday? How was your trip? How was this? And it's lovely. It's like an extension of your family, if you like. But, so for me, me and Scott had the conversation, we feel lucky to live where we live, not just because of our own physical bricks and mortar of the building, but the surroundings, the countryside, the roads, the bars, the restaurants, the shops. But most of all, it's the people. And I think that's what truly does make a home a home. It's the people, it's the fun, it's the laughter, it's the memories. And again, I can only echo what Dominic spoke about and in reference to my own family, when you have that moment where you don't have that person physically there with you, how nice is it to sit around and have those memories, have those flashbacks? To me, that is more than anything, more than anyone can give you. We all go through those moments of grief and we can all talk to each other. We can help each other. We can give advice to each other. But there's something nobody can give us within this world. That's our memories. You know, when we look at people we've lost around us, what's the thing that can bring the biggest smile to your face? Yes, hearing from them through a demonstrated medium, absolutely, wonderful. But who can share those personal memories, those moments of laughter, those moments of joy? You. You are the only person that can truly give yourself that. So days when we are feeling a little bit lost or a little bit down or a little bit, emotional, whatever it may be, sit back and think of your home, your childhood home, your family home, whatever that may be. And like me, just think of all those fun-filled memories, moments of laughter and moments of love, because they never ever disappear. They're here 100% of the time, just as much as our loved ones are next to us 100% of the time as well. You may not always feel them, you may not always experience them. If like me, I'm like, where? But do you know what? Our loved ones truly are there 100% of the time. So just think back of all the good times, all the memories, and that is what truly makes a home, is what is within your heart and what you carry with you day in and day out. So thank you for listening to me, and I'll hand you over to the hostess with the mostest, the homeliest person I know, Mrs. Sandra Champlain.
Oh, thank you so much, Darren, and thank you, Dominic. You'll hear from me about my thoughts about home after the medium demonstration. But the two gentlemen just kept referring to at home. And you know how we talk about that feeling of being at home? It hit me while they were speaking that here on the Sunday gathering, I'm at home. At home is someplace where you can just be yourself and you can talk freely about what you love. And don't you find that here? You know, we can't talk to everybody about the afterlife. People have different beliefs, but here on the Sunday gathering, you are free. You are at home. So I feel completely me and completely at home now for all these weeks with you. So thank you. So we're going to move into our demonstration of mediumship now, and it's just an opportunity to see live on the court that our loved ones really are still part of our lives. We've read your messages in the chat box. I know some personal stories of people who are here with us today. We know some people, your grief is raw. Your loved ones have passed to the unseen world quite recently. We know there are people that have been with us for a long time, and that heart never does heal. We just move through grief. We together always give you everything we can to help you in any way we can. So always please reach out. You have some friends here at the Sunday gathering. I'm just an email away. So as I say that, we do have representatives of the spirit world that come each and every Sunday, just letting us know that all of our loved ones are here. And what I like to say is that our loved ones that come through on the Sunday gathering, they're panelists from the other side. That's what Zoom calls Darren and Dominic and me. We're panelists and you guys are participants. That's the Zoom lingo. So although we can't see the panelists from the other side, their messages really are for all of us. So there'll be a handful of people here today that will get a reading from your loved one, but I 100% believe that they're here for all of us, letting us know how close they are. And so I want everybody to really be on the edge of your seat for the medium demonstration. How does this reading apply to my life? Sometimes there's messages that come through to other people that I think, oh my gosh, I need that myself. Well, I think that's why maybe they're chosen to be the representatives. I don't know. But all of our loved ones are around, not just on Sundays. Of course, they continue to live their lives, but in a blink of an eye, they're right here with us. Okay. So they're right with you. They can hear you. They can feel your love, and it's all good. All right. So just because your loved one may not come through today doesn't mean they're not with you. Okay. Enough said about that. Dominic is our wonderful medium today and next week as well. We got the three amigos back for you next week. He'll work with the spirit world and someone will present themselves to him using whatever he's got. So they might use his memories, his pictures in his mind, his feelings. You never know. Sometimes there's a sense of taste or smell that comes through. You never know how people are going to work. And the good news is we still retain our personalities when we pass into the spirit world, because we often see some people have a sense of humor. So we never give that up. Never fear. You're always you. So you'll first hear Dominic describe the person that stepped forward to work with him. Now, the spirit world folks know exactly who's on our Sunday gathering today. Even if you think nobody else knows, well, they know. So please listen in. If all of a sudden he's telling the story of what a person, who the person is, and maybe what they did for the living, or whatever details they are, and you think, hey, I know that person. We want you to press your raise hand button. Now, here's the thing. The people he describes, they're all people in the spirit world. So if he describes someone that sounds like somebody living, don't press your raise hand button, okay? So he'll tell you if there's somebody in the audience that fits a description. He'll be specific about that. But the loved ones are people that maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's somebody you worked with, maybe it's somebody a little distant. But you'll start feeling like, hey, I can understand all that information. Now, everybody should know we have over 160 people here with us. So when I ask you to press that raise hand button, if you recognize the person, we want you to take all the evidence. If you can only take some of it, what happens is we get 12 people with their hands raised. So just raise your hand if you can take all the information, okay? And if you have not ever been here and you want to practice with that raise hand button, find it on your device and press it now. And you'll see it turns from raise hand to lower hand. Depending on what device you're on a computer, you'll see a raise hand. Sometimes on an iPad or a phone, there's 3 little dots before that raise hand button appears. All right, so that's the best way we can find you. Now, if you're the person with your last hand raised, like last man standing, and the medium works with you, what I'll do is I send a little signal over to your device. You're going to get a pop-up and it'll say host would like you to unmute. Now, you don't see an unmute button yet, but you will when I send you that little message. We do not need your camera on. It's not even an option. Don't worry about that. But it's nice to hear your voice. It helps working with the spirit world. So all we need from you is a yes, no, or I don't know. Dominic, Darren, myself, and others are really trying to raise the level of mediumship on planet Earth. So we don't need anybody to feed the medium. We don't want you to give information out. We want everybody to know that good, true mediumship really is working with people that no longer walk this earth. So the best way you can participate in that, not just on the Sunday gathering, but if you ever have a reading, just say yes, no, or I don't know. Let the medium do the work. All right. So that being said, I think that's all the details I have for you. We always like to play a feel-good piece of music before we begin, and it's an opportunity just to raise the energy, be entertained a little bit, but also I say we can picture our loved ones right here with us, giving us a big hug, recalling some happy memories. All right. I know when they speak and they come to us, in our thoughts and our imaginations, those happy memories, that's those messages of love from them. When there's negative things that come into our mind, that can be our own imagination or ego, or how that kind of thing works. But from the spirit world, man, they love us, and that love never dies. So let me play this song. It's a new one. I've never heard it before. Darren has picked it, and again, with the theme of home. There's no place like home. Hello, Dominic.
Hey, 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 wasn't that a feel-good beat? Wasn't it? Good choice, Mr. Darren. Good choice. So yes, I'm very excited to see who will be coming to communicate with us today. Okay, so just as I'm becoming aware, that's interesting. Just as I'm becoming aware of the spirit world, I'm very much aware of this beautiful man. This is incredible. So I'm very much aware of what feels to me Grandpa. Okay, so I feel he feels like Grandpa. I know as he's connecting here with me, if he didn't pretend to be a magician, then he would do card tricks. He would try to do silly things with, string and chords and, the coin behind the ear. He's coming in really fun. He's just like, hey, pick a card, let's do this. And I know that the grandchildren that he makes reference to would have all these memories of him being such a tease, him doing all these things with him. I get the impression as I connected here with him, there may have been either Alzheimer's or dementia that eventually affected this gentleman because it makes me feel his deterioration and his change was difficult for the family to see him. And I feel that there would be a grandson, feel there's a grandson that's named after him. And what I feel with that is maybe like Joseph, but then becoming Joe or Joey. But I feel there's a namesake that has passed through as I connect with this beautiful man as well.
Thank you, Dominic. All right, friends, who understands this gentleman, please press your raise hand button. And we wait patiently.
As we do. As we do. I feel his daughter should be with us as I'm connecting here with him.
Jesse. Jesse, if you can find that unmute button and press it for us. Hi, Jesse.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hey, Jesse.
Hi.
Hey, just very quickly, do you understand why I get this thing about pretending like being a magician and being very tricky and doing little
Yeah.
fun things with
Stealing the
the grandchildren?
noses off the
Yep,
grandkids, all that stuff.
absolutely. And is there something to do with the namesake as well being passed through with him?
Yes.
Perfect, because I felt that it was important to acknowledge like my name carries through. And
Uh-huh.
again, I mean this with the greatest of respect, but he is wicked cool, sweetie. He really is. The moment that I connected with him, I felt like he was poking me, like trying to tickle me and tease me. And I feel that's what we missed about him and seeing this deterioration with him, as seeing the fun and the laughter. And again, we talked about no place like home being family, but that's the way he would have been as well, sweetie. Is that true?
Yes.
Very connected about coming to the family and home and everyone being there. But he
Yeah.
kept making me want to make the reference to the stories and the legacies and sharing the memories about him being very important. So within the past few days, have you been talking about things like this with people in the family, sweetie?
Yeah, you're right on that. Actually
Yeah.
tomorrow morning we will be burying his ashes. So we've all been coming up with
Perfect. So we're discussing stories and sharing
yes.
beautiful memories of him. Fabulous. Now, to your knowledge, did he start to have a deterioration or issues with his hands or his fingers, sweetie?
Yes.
Yeah, because he keeps like doing things with his fingers. Now, I wasn't sure if it was a joke or a trick type thing, like removing the thumb.
Both, actually,
Yeah,
both.
but he's telling me to say, let everyone know that, I'm whole again. I've got all my goods. He's got all his digits. That's what he keeps teasing here,
Oh my
sweetie.
God.
Um, he is acknowledging two people. So I don't know if this is going to be two different people saying something for him or sharing words for him, but he's telling me to let all the family know he's been there with you all, sharing those memories, those legacies. He's been a part of it. He's been listening, and he's also glad. Has there been anything to do with someone getting something created for everyone to have, like
Oh
maybe
my
a
God.
present or a flower or something, because he's telling me you're all going to have a piece of him with you.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
Perfect,
yes.
wonderful. Because he's just like, yep. And I kind of want to be teasing, saying, yippee-ki-yay, So I do feel like he had his own, what I call trademark or calling card, if I can certainly say that to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just very quickly, was there a Joseph or a Joey connecting to them?
Um, we have it's John. Many of
So
Johns.
maybe John or Johnny then.
Yes.
Perfect.
Several.
That's fine. Because again, it's just the way that I had to acknowledge Joseph, but then someone John or Joey, like it breaks
Yeah.
down is the easiest way I can say. I know as he talks about tomorrow as this comes up, but he also makes me feel this is bizarre, but I'm going to go with it. Okay. I don't know if it's for you, but I know there's a female that will be doing her best to be looking out for the butterflies, but he's telling me to say he will make the butterflies dance. Okay.
Okay.
So when you are together, just bear in mind that he keeps making me feel a female may point out, look at the butterflies dancing or look at those butterflies, but he knows what he's doing. That's the easiest way that I can say to you, sweetie. Okay.
Oh.
Um Show me that again if you can. What is that he shows me here? Interesting, but let me just go with it. Has there been any talk of like having a different like rock or boulder painted or engraved for him? Not a headstone, but I feel like something else that may stay where he calls home.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Because again, it's not a headstone because I know the difference. But he's just telling me to acknowledge this. And just very quickly, because I could be moved here, but do you or did he have any connections to New York at all, sweetie?
Yeah, he was born in New York. Holy cow.
Perfect. Yeah, because I just feel there's a piece of him went home and I kept hearing New York. I've just heard he's met up with Willie as well, but the way I have to spell it is Wullie, like Willie, rather than WI. So there may be something interesting there with
Mm.
that. But I feel it's very special for you to know that he's been listening to those conversations, listening to those memories. And again, I feel it's important for you is to remember him with how he lived, with the joking, the pulling the nose, the finger, the coins, rather than remembering his last moments. Okay? Because his last moments, that's all it was just a moment. It wasn't his lifetime. Okay, so like we said earlier about the legacy, I want you to know that this beautiful man's legacy still lives on with his family, and he's very much at home with you all. So tomorrow, I'm sure everyone here, his thoughts will be with you and your family. But
Oh,
celebrate him. Do not mourn him, sweetie. And I will say thank you, Jesse, for allowing me to speak with you.
oh, thank you so much. Totally needed that
Cheers.
today. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, sweetie. You take care. So very much aware of the. Hmm. That's interesting. I'm very much aware of a lady that's just stepped forward here just now, and she feels young at heart. And I'm going to maybe take her in her late 60s, early 70s. But the moment I connect with her, I almost felt as if I was taken back into like an old hair salon. It's very weird because I keep seeing the thing that goes over the dryer and the scissors. So I feel that she would have been a hairstylist. She would have been a hairdresser, as we call it in the UK here. I know somewhere there would either be a connection to Cindy or Candy, however you want to say that, but I keep hearing a name like this being mentioned. I know I also need to mention Sue or Suzanne, because I keep hearing this as well as I connect with this beautiful lady. Not 100% convinced with this, but I feel there may have been issues with her blood. So maybe either leukemia or sepsis, but I feel there's issues that may have surrounded her blood that wasn't 100% right, is what I need to say here. But she, if I was to tell you she had sass, she had sass, she had her own style. Like she's got it going on, is the easiest way I could describe with her. But the hairdressing, the styling, the salon, that's my thing she's taking me straight back to.
Thank you very much. Who understands this lady? Please press your raise hand button for us. Well, we have Kaz. Kaz, if you could press that unmute button.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hi, Kaz.
Hi.
Right, just very quickly tell me what you understand, sweetie.
Everything.
Mm. You understand like the hair salon, the hairdresser or whatever?
Absolutely. She was very particular about her hair. Her hair was very short, but she would have to have it perfect. So she would be
That's
going to the hairdressers every 2 weeks.
okay, because I felt like just coming off of that theme, it's almost like she felt at home in her hair salon or where she would be getting the hair done is sort of what I need to say to you. And you understand the Susan or the Suzanne, the Sue?
Her name was Suzanne.
Perfect, wonderful. Would you accept if I says to you just off of this a little moment, sweetie, why I would get the impression of feeling that you and her didn't quite get to say goodbye?
Yes.
Because
No.
I feel like maybe we get to say goodbye as verbal, but not together. Is there something to do with not being able to get together or be with each other?
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want you to know that I'm telling you the information from her, sweetie. That's all. But she just keeps like the way she came in. It was almost like, boom, here I am, and you all will listen, and you'll all see me and feel me, but you'll all let me love you as well. Is the impression that I get with her.
Yeah.
Okay. But she's also telling me to say that She's telling me to say that you were one of the only people that actually truly got to know her as well, if I can say that to you. So I
Absolutely.
feel there was moments of who she is with others, and then who she is with you, or who she is with being
Yes.
around you. It's almost like she's got two different lives, if I can say that to you in some manner.
Yeah.
Is what I want to say here. She does make me feel again just this feeling with the blood, but was there something to do with something not necessarily diagnosed or treated with the blood as well?
Yes. She
Yes,
had a lot of tests. Yeah.
Okay, sweetie, because she just keeps making me feel very much that not necessarily time was against her, but maybe the blood or that situation wasn't always the priority, is what I need to say. Okay,
Yes.
but that's the impression I get. Would I be correct to say that you have a tattoo in memory of her?
I have several. Yes.
Because she just says to me there, she says she loves your art. And I says, oh, is she an artist? And she says, nope, it's on the body. It's on the body. But it's as if with this sash, she's like, and it's for me. It's for me, is what I need to say here. She also keeps acknowledging to me her transition to the spirit world it wasn't fair, right? And I get that, and sometimes it's not fair, and we can't change that. But I do get the whole impression of needing to say it wasn't fair because there was still so much that I had to do in life, and I feel that there was this excitement. She wasn't planning on retiring, was she?
No. No.
Because I feel like I'm excited for like my next chapters or my, like some people do like a 5-year plan type of thing. But I feel there's something to do with like a plan or excitement of a change or a shift or a movement. Okay,
Yes.
that I feel she was excited about is certainly what I need to say to you. Okay, I'm going to say something also that may sound a little bit strange. Okay, not a Christmas tree, but have you placed or put something on a tree in memory for her?
I have. Yeah.
Because I almost felt it was like a ribbon or a bow or even a photograph, but not a Christmas tree. Okay. But that's what she keeps showing me here. I also want to talk about, did she also have any family connecting down south, either going into England or London or anything, sweetie?
Not down south.
No. Okay. I maybe moved then, but let me just double check with something. Who would be James or Jim?
James is my brother-in-law.
Okay, so because if you don't understand one thing, I'll go into my own situation, but I know that I want to talk about a sense of love or healing and connecting around where James or Jim is
Yeah.
concerned.
Yes, I can
Okay,
take that. Yeah.
okay, sweetie. Um, I don't know why, but all I'm going to say to you is when she passed away, when she crossed over to the next chapter of her life, I want you to know that she came home to you. Okay. The first song that we played today was Westlife. I want to go home.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's telling me to remind you and reassure you home is where she is now, and that's with you. Okay. So just know that she's still watching over you all. She's still very much there. She says, and get those eyes checked. Get those eyes checked. So I'm not sure what's going on with your eyes if they're a little bit tired, but again,
Yeah.
she's just keeping her little eye on you. So sincerely, thank you so much for allowing me to connect with this beautiful girl, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dominic.
You're
I
so
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
Much love. Thank you. That's interesting. So I've got this other man stepping forward here just now, and the moment I connect with this man, he keeps telling me I need to talk about the bus. I need to talk about the bus. And I keep getting the impression he was a bus driver, but in my mind, what I keep seeing is, like the yellow school buses in the States. That's what I keep seeing in my mind. And I'm like, did you drive the school bus or are you just showing me this as a bus? But I know that he would have driven the buses. And I know that it was so a joy for him. It wasn't a chore. It was a joy for him. He loved it. He enjoyed it. The chat, the people, everything about it. I know that Bob or Bobby should be connected with him because I keep getting this feeling of wanting to talk about Bob or Bobby, however you want to say it here. He does also make me feel very much that there would have been a weakness with his heart. Now, I'm not saying this is how he passed, and I like to be honest, but I know there would have been something not quite good with his heart, is what I need to talk about. But he loved his driving of the buses and back and forth, and oh, he could drive all day, I hear. He could drive all day.
Thank you, Dominic. Who understands this gentleman? Again, please press your raise hand button for us.
I almost feel that this is a brother, but I could be wrong, but we'll just check with that.
We have David with his hand raised.
Oh.
David, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Hey, David.
Hey, well, I just started listening to the podcast a couple of days ago, and I've been really interested in NDEs. There's a guy on YouTube, Jeff Mara, who has done maybe 1,000 interviews of people who've had NDEs.
Can you understand the evidence about the bus?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I think I might have jumped in too early.
Oh, it's all right. We're doing our medium demonstration.
Okay.
You can email me later with that.
Okay.
But you raised your hand. We thought you understood the gentleman from the other side that drove the yellow school bus.
Well, I'm a delivery driver myself, and I can totally relate to loving driving. I mean, I've been doing it since 1984 and absolutely love it.
But you don't have a brother in the spirit world that did the driving?
No, that's me.
No.
So I'm
Okay.
in too early.
That's okay, David. Thank you so much, though, and thank you for joining us.
Okay, and we're back to everyone else. If you can understand this gentleman driving the yellow bus, raise your hand and keep listening in, David. We're glad you're here.
I feel I keep wanting to make a reference to a female as well as I'm connecting with this man. And I know it's not Marina, but it sounds like Marina or Mariana, like something like this as well. It's not Maria, but Marina, Mariana. I keep getting a reference to this as well. I feel as if I may be connecting to the West Coast as well. So maybe San Diego, California, but I feel I'm west with this man as well.
Thank you. And everyone, this might not be immediate family member. It might be somebody in your circle. Just think back. If this makes sense to you, raise your hand. Or you think it may make sense to you. Spirit world can work in
We hope so.
wonderful and weird ways sometimes.
Yeah, like I said, it felt like a brother, but I'm not convinced with it. So maybe even brother-in-law, but I know I'm not immediate like a husband or father to my recipient.
No hands up.
No, nothing. Still nothing. Let me see if I can get anything else with them. I almost feel like the driving and the thing with the buses would have been something he did before he took sick or before he retired. This was going back apart with him, is what I want to say with him as well.
Thank you. Who understands this?
We're going to be here all day.
Oh, we might be. No hands up just yet, Dominic. Could be any bus or just the yellow school bus. I'm just wondering.
I'm just using the yellow school bus as reference, but I kept seeing the old style bus, so I have to use that. It's not like a big coach, if you get what I mean.
Pete has his hand raised. Let's talk to Pete. Hi, Pete.
Hiya.
Hi.
I think I'm hiya, Dominic. I just want to say that I used to drive school buses that were orange and cream, and I knew a lot of drivers, but I can't remember a Bob. But I thought I'd just mention it in case it touched base somewhere. Do you get it out of a spot?
I totally appreciate that. And just let me just double check. Do you understand like the Marina, Mariana, like a name like this at all?
I do understand the Mariana, but not in England.
No, I don't even feel I'd be doing this justice because I felt as if I was connecting to the West Coast
Yeah,
for
so
some reason.
It's not me then, but I just thought.
No,
I'd
I totally appreciate that, and I would rather stick true to my evidence than try and change it. So I appreciate that, Pete. Thank you.
Dominic, we have Mina here, and then Holly also just put her hand
Oh,
up.
Mina, we can try that.
Mina.
Yeah, Mina.
Mina. Hi, Mina.
Oh,
Mhm.
Mina.
Hi. Yeah, But
What do you understand, sweetie?
well, my father was a Greyhound bus driver, but
Yes, okay.
that's all I
Okay.
can connect. I can't connect to the Bob.
That's okay. Give me 1 second. Do you understand if I was to say to you, sweetie, that your dad would have then stopped that work before he took ill or before he passed?
It was a number of years.
Yes, because I feel that that's a gap. There's a
Yeah,
gap from this.
a big
I do
gap.
get the impression like he enjoyed this. This was, it wasn't
Oh,
a
yeah.
chore to him. He
It was a
enjoyed it.
career.
Perfect,
Mhm.
because I feel very much like an enjoyment of doing the bus driving and doing his thing is certainly what I need to say here. And just very loosely, do you understand any weakness with Dad's heart at all, sweetie?
Related to stroke.
Okay, because I know it's not how he passed, but I just feel that maybe checking his blood pressure, his heart count would have then led to maybe slowing down a bit or realizing that he couldn't keep doing the things he was doing as well. He does come across with a lot of love, if I can say that to you, sweetie. So what I would say with him is also connecting to yourself and to the family. He was very much a man that would express his love and his gratitude, but he also liked his own company as well.
Yes.
Yes, then I do feel very much as he's connecting here with me. Did he also have two brothers?
No, one named Bob.
So that's the Bob. Okay, because I feel like I want to talk about two brothers. So him and your uncle, that's the two brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I knew there was Bob. I'm not crazy. But I feel just as he's connecting here with me, there's a great sense of how family have reunited or came back together, if I can say this. But would there still be family connecting going west at all?
Southwest.
Okay, but I know I keep being drawn over the other side of the state, so we'll take that, sweetie. But I feel just as he's connecting, just the way that he's came close to me here, there's something to do with someone tracing their ancestry or looking back to where things had changed or where people had lived before and then came. Are you tracing back your family's your father's roots at all, sweetie?
No.
I feel there's something to do with tracing. I kind of feel like I want to talk about going back to Europe and then tracing to the States and then something. So bear this in mind for me, sweetie, but it keeps making me want to talk about looking back to where he came from, to where he then settled and had his home, his family. And it's important for you to know that he was a very content man with his life. Very content man. And I feel he worked hard, he raised his family, and he did the best he could. And he's telling me to say that this is important for you to remember. You're doing the best you can. You're doing everything you can to do the best you can.
Yeah, that screams loudly to me because I've been beating myself up. When you age, you think, oh, I should have, could have, did different.
Of course. Well, then that's a validation from your beautiful father, just giving you that validation of it's okay. We have to do what we've got to do. And all I will say to you is just take each day as it comes and just know that he's there pushing you along and just helping you get to wherever that may need to be. But just know that he's reunited with his beautiful brother, Bob, and that they've came back together as well, sweetie. So thank you so much for coming and speaking, because I knew I wasn't crazy, but my apologies for mispronouncing your name.
Thank you so much. And
You're so
last
welcome.
message meant a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetie. You're so very welcome. Thank you, Sandra, for your patience. Let's see what else we have. Okay. So I've got this young boy stepping forward here just now. Interesting when I say young boy. I don't know what I mean by this, but I'm going to express the first impression that I get from him. I know he's older, but he's got a different mindset, as easiest way I could say to you. So maybe he's slightly older, but has more of a younger energy or a younger mindset, is what I need to say here. He does make me feel, as I connect with him, there's something to do with a rally or an event that people in his family had done to memorialize him and to celebrate his life. It's not just a celebration of life, it's like a huge gathering is sort of what I want to acknowledge here. He does make me feel very much that there would have been, I don't want to say an unexpectedness to his passing, but his passing seems to be quick, is what I need to acknowledge with him. I do feel also as he connects here with me, he was very artistic or very creative, because I want to talk about like drawing or colouring and painting and things. I keep seeing a lot of colour and things with him as I connect with him as well.
Thank you very much. If you understand this information, press your raise hand button. And I see we do have Marty. Marty, if you could press that unmute button. Oh, and Tammy also, we have two.
Oh, we have two. Fabulous. I'm just going to double check if any of them understand this perhaps as their son.
Go to Marty. Marty, can you understand this as son?
Not a son.
Not a son. Just stay right where you
I
are.
understand the artist and the gathering.
I'm sorry, Tammy?
My son.
Your son.
Your son, Tammy. Okay, perfect. Because I felt as if I could hear son. That was my next piece, and this would be your son. So, Tammy, you understand why I've got this thing about him being the creator of the drawing, the colouring, and whatever?
Well, no, he was really, really artistic. He wrote, and he sang, and he was very artistic in that way. His brother.
That's okay, but I'll just express to you what I'm seeing. I felt there was a lot of things maybe used or left behind that we used for the gathering, or things printed or copied, and taken pictures of from things that he left behind. If I can say that.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Yes.
Because that comes up very much here. Yes, perfect. And would you understand, again, I'm not always the best, but would you understand why I get the impression of like a different mentality or age mentality with him, sweetie?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. And I don't know what that is, and that's okay, but I just know that I want to acknowledge that it's important for all my family, especially yourself being here, that he left his physical life knowing that he was loved and knowing that he was, all I can say to you, is a star. Okay,
Yeah.
that keeps coming up. And I know that there's something to do with a star being engraved with his name on it as well, because he tells me to acknowledge this. But he doesn't want the family, yourself, you've said he's got a brother. He doesn't want you going through life with, did he know we loved him? Did he know we loved him? He knew that. He knew that so much, and I feel that this would be something that would have been evident in this gathering, because I feel there was a community, there was a college, there was a school, there was something to do with so many people came to celebrate his gathering.
There was, it was a community. There was gang members in different gangs and rivals.
Oh, there's so many,
together.
so many people.
Everybody from the whole town. It was like remarkable.
It was a big affair, wasn't it? It really was. It really was. Because he keeps acknowledging this to me. He keeps acknowledging to me as well a great sense of you as a mother, which of course did everything within your power to protect him and look after him. And he's telling me to say, you did not fail. Okay, he keeps telling me, you did not fail. He says, one thing you did was let me live. He says, and that I will be entirely grateful for. He also keeps wanting to acknowledge a sense of not allowing history to repeat itself. So I know he also wants to acknowledge to you with his brother and the love and the support and the care and protection that he has for your other son. He'll not let history repeat itself. And I'm trying to tread carefully with that, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Okay, perfect. I know as he connects here with me as well, he keeps acknowledging to me, I don't know what the hell this is. Darren, can I just ask, did you keep a pair of his sneakers?
Boots. And sneakers, yes.
Like, okay, because he's talking to me about, the sneakers is the way I want to express it, but he's laughing because he's acknowledging to me that he would have bigger feet than yours, or your petite feet or something, but he's acknowledging having the sneakers is certainly what I want to say here. Is there a Josh or Joshua?
There's a Jordan.
Not too sure I am finishing, but I just felt as if I wanted to talk about like a J-O. I thought it was an S, but again, Josh, something like
And
this.
Joseph.
But
his
that'll
name's
do me.
Joseph.
Perfect, that'll do me, because I can't change it to a RD. I keep saying Jose. But he's acknowledging to me, sweetie, if I can just say to you, wasn't there something either written about him in a newspaper or something on the news about him?
Mm-hmm. in the
because he's
newspaper.
acknowledging, like looking through what we call cuttings, we call it newspaper articles,
Yeah.
but he's acknowledging the news. That's sort of what he's telling me to say as well. And would I be right to say your own father has passed?
My what?
Your own father?
Yes.
Yep, because he's telling me to
Yep.
let you know he's with your father, he's with his grandpa, is certainly what I need
Yeah.
to say as well. And was there like either a Rottweiler or a boxer type dog? Who's the big dog?
Both of them. I had a rock
Because
and
he's
a
telling me
boxer.
to say they're here as well. They're here as well. Okay. So I do need to say that to you. I'm going to use an analogy of the dog for a moment, but I feel there's either something to do with, you know, like a baseball hat or a cap that's got the American bulldog on it.
Yeah.
I keep seeing this, so I know either there's a photograph of your son wearing this, or your other son has this, but he keeps showing me this this bulldog on the hat is what I need to say to you. He wants to say to you that from the moment he was born to the moment that he crossed over, you were always his hero. Now it's his job to be your hero, sweetie. Okay, so I want you to know that your beautiful boy is still very much at home with you and still very much around you, making a lot of noise, I have to tell you. But I know
it
that
was
he's
really...
also feeling at home with your father as well, darling.
I just
Okay.
had one question though. When he said that I could have done more, I struggle with I should have done more when he was in the hospital, and I can't live with myself.
That is something as a mother. That's something as a mother that you will always struggle with. But one thing I will say to you is, here is your beautiful son today, telling you from a stranger, all the way in Scotland, I will add, that you've done more than enough. And do you know what you can do for the sake of your son in heaven? Is live each day being the best you can for your son still here, because that's all he needs, darling. Okay? So just know that he's giving you that closure, that love, and that peace of mind that you were his hero. You loved him, you cared for him, and just know that he's aware of that. He's aware of that, sweetie. And just know that he's a lot better than you and I and the other 170 odd people on here today. So take comfort in your heart knowing that he is perfectly fine, sweetie. That I can assure you. I'd love to wave a magic wand, but the realism of Dominic is important to say that. So keep being the best you can and stop being so hard on yourself, but love that beautiful boy that you still have here as well.
I have 4 others.
Good. Mwah. Darren, thank you so much, and thank you for allowing me to share that moment with you. You take care. Bless. My Sandra, I will hand back to you.
Thank you so much, Dominic. Oh, and Darren as well. And friends, I heard it a couple of times in our demonstration, the guilt, the grief, it's just tough. Let me just say this to you. We human beings do the best we can every moment in our lives. Guilt is a terrible thing, but if you could go back, well, we can't go back. We did everything we could. So please try to let yourself off the hook, knowing that in that moment of life, you did everything you could. And our loved ones know that. They know how hard it is. They know how difficult it is. I do know many people are experiencing some deep grief right now. I just want to let you know that this Thursday, our dear friends, Kath and Mitch Shirley, they're both advanced grief recovery specialists. They're both mediums as well. It won't be a demonstration, but they offer a very, very comforting and free, we call it the Grief Cafe. It's 90 minutes with people that care. You can ask questions, they talk about grief, and you can understand it from a deeper level. It's not recorded for your privacy, but you can find details for it at wedon'tdie.com. Just click on the store page is the link to register there. If you don't yet have a copy of my book, Chapter 10 is on how to survive grief. Grief is unfortunately what brings us together. Even though I'm glad we're together, I don't want anybody to be going through pain. On the main page at wedon'tdie.com at the bottom, if you want to enter your name and email address to be on the mailing list, it says you'll get the first few chapters of my book. The secret is it's the entire book. There's so much valuable information about grief and moving through it and how to ease the pain. That's my gift for you. Okay. Also, I want to just some announcements. First of all, Scott popped his head in to tell Darren that the England's women football team has just won the European Cup. So that's big reason for celebration. Also, I know many people are interested and want to find out more about Dominic and his mediumship. He's got a wonderful book called The Voice of Spirit, The Boy Next Door with the Incredible Gift. I also interviewed him many moons ago, but you can find that as well. His website is dominicbogue.com. So you can find out about him. Also, you can join Scott, Darren, Dominic, friend Josephine, and others. They have some live retreats coming up. There's one in November in the Netherlands. People fly from all over the world to attend these, and it's called togetherwithspirit.com. You can go there to find out more. And then they just announced in April of 2026, they'll be in Plymouth, Massachusetts. They're one-of-a-kind events. They're really, really special in just to participate in all ways with great people about the afterlife and living life. They're fantastic. So coming up at wedon'tdie.com Monday and Tuesday, we're with our medium friend Scott Milligan. We have class on Monday and Tuesday. Also, there is Sitting in the Power, a beautiful opportunity to close your eyes and just blend with the power of your soul. Like I said, on Thursday is the Grief Cafe with Kath and Mitch Shirley. And then next Sunday, the three amigos are back. Yes, that's Dominic, Darren, and myself. Dominic is cooking up our theme, so more details when we are back with you next Sunday. And you can come in 15 minutes early. We open the Zoom room 15 minutes early. Come in, say hello, talk to us, watch the opening videos. It's always pretty fun. Now, my words for the week are just on that feeling of home. There is an ultimate home. And I used to cook for race car teams. That was my career for almost 35 years. And one of the race car drivers told me a story that he didn't tell many people, because, you know, a lot of people don't believe in this, but he himself had had a bad crash. He was in the hospital, put into a coma. And it was one of those moments that he rose above his body and he looked down and he saw his mom and dad praying by his bedside. But who else was there? Was his grandmother and grandfather, who were deceased, in a place that made this life feel like just the dream and made, with grandma and grandpa, feel like the ultimate home. So there will be a day, friends, that we do open our eyes into the unseen world to us right now, but it's very real. It'll be so familiar. Your loved ones will be there, your pets. It'll just be glorious. Of course, our jobs here on earth are important. It's all education and experience for our soul, but there is an ultimate home that will make this life seem like just a dream. So that feeling of home, whatever that is to you, sometimes we just have to hang on. There are some people in our community, parents have passed, maybe no siblings, and home is where you are. And remember, your loved ones are around. Sometimes I think this lifetime is like going to an amusement park with the ups and downs, the scary rides and the fun ones. But eventually we all pack our bags and go back home. And so I know planet Earth, it's not fun, and the scary things are really scary, and it's really, really tough. But if we could just hang on to that feeling of home, whatever that is for you, your loved ones are around, you will see them again. Your life is for a reason. Please keep in touch with us. If you need somebody to write to, my email is easy to remember, sandrachamplain@gmail.com. And if you're experiencing grief, I'm here for you, whatever we can do for you. Plus, like our friend said, David said, listening to the podcast, I have now 750 hours of episodes, 750 episodes total between my two podcasts. I'll give you every bit of evidence I've got that we go on and that our loved ones are still with us. There's ways to communicate with them, and we are all here for you, Darren, Dominic, and myself. So that's it for my announcements, my inspiration. You're never alone. You are loved. You can't see them, but they are around you. All right. So I'm going to hand it over to Dominic for our closing prayer.
Thank you, Sandra, for that beautiful reminder. Friends, let's come together once again and just give thanks and gratitude for this beautiful time that we've shared together. Divine Spirit, Father God, we graciously thank you for allowing the veil to be parted and allowing our loved ones to step forth and speak their truth once again, that life truly is eternal and that there is no death. We ask for healing, to heal us as we move forward in this life, to heal us with the knowledge that life truly is eternal as well. Give us the healing that can help make that grief just that little bit less painful. Give us the comfort and show us the way, and help us to realize that one day we will go home, and that home will be filled with our loved ones, our friends, our family, and our pet. But until then, keep us safe and keep us going with the love and the comfort that we need. And all this we say in your name, just unconditional love.
Thank you so much, Dominic. Thank you, Darren. Thank you to everyone who's with us now or watching the replay. And of course, to our friends in the spirit world. We'll pay attention for those subtle little thoughts and memories that come into our mind, little calling cards. So let's play our closing song for you now. That's right. Don't forget to come home to our Sunday gathering next week. WeDon'tDie.com. Click on the Sunday gathering page, and a shout out to those friends who donated and made our Sunday gathering possible. So on behalf of Darren, Dominic, and I, the three amigos, we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.